think you'd be comfortable back down to 154? I can't imagine you being comfortable at 157 at this stage. What does that look like for you?
No, I'm not going down to 154. You know,
okay.
I'm not going back down. I'm definitely comfortable. You know, my motto is, you know, any weight class that I ever moved up from, I never went back down. And so,
Terence Crawford just made a huge career announcement he's not retiring yet, and his next target, a shocking name that fans never expected. Let's break down what's really happening in boxing right now. Terence Crawford has confirmed he's not retiring just yet. In an interview, he revealed he plans to fight again in 2026, and his target is Bivol. Crawford said he won't go back to 154, and he won't move up to 175 either. Instead, 160 pounds is the plan. He called Bivol the only fight that makes sense for his legacy right now.
If you were at 168, when we think about anybody at 168 outside of Canelo, the first name that comes to anybody's mind is David Benavidez. What about the potential for a fight like that?
Oh, like I said, man, that's a big dude. You know what I mean? He ain't even at 168. You know, when you look
right not now, that 175, yeah.
He probably can't even make 168 no more.
This surprised many because some expected Crawford to face David Benavidez. After Crawford's last victory, Saudi official Turki Al-Sheikh even suggested a mega fight between the two. Benavidez, who missed his shot at Canelo, later moved up in weight. A Crawford versus Benavidez fight would be massive, but Crawford has made it clear Bivol is his priority. Analysts say Benavidez has the size advantage, but after what Crawford did to Canelo, most see him as the favorite.
He's earned it. He is the man right now. He's the top gun. He's, you know, I know you got him, Inoue, and Usyk. They all belong in those three. But Crawford probably just put himself on the top of the hill.
Still, some believe Crawford might retire instead. He's already the first male boxer to become undisputed in 3 different weight classes. He's undefeated, he's beaten almost every big name, and he made huge money fighting Canelo. So, why keep going? But on the other hand, Crawford could still earn massive paydays. A Canelo rematch or fights between 154 and 174 pounds are all on the table.
When you look at these fights, you know, especially coming up, you gotta be realistic. You gotta, you know, say, all right, you know, how big is this dude really is? Because David Benavidez, he can fight his ass off. You know, me personally, I believe.
Boxing legend Teddy Atlas recently spoke about Crawford's options. On his podcast, he said Crawford has earned the right to choose whatever he wants. Atlas called him the top gun and the pound-for-pound #1. Crawford wants to fight at 160 pounds, but Atlas warned about losing muscle after moving down from 168. It can be tough on the body.
Top of the mountain, you know, and he's just, to the victor goes the spoils, baby. He gets to choose. He's special. He showed that. Now,
Atlas also said Crawford is too smart to take risks that hurt him. Dropping from 168 to 160 is just 8 pounds, which should be manageable. Still, Atlas believes Crawford is best at super middleweight, where he doesn't have to cut too much weight. Meanwhile, UFC star Ilia Topuria has been calling out Crawford for a fight inside the boxing ring.
How do you beat Floyd, though? Like, since nobody's been able to crack that code.
You think I would tell you?
He ain't fighting anymore. So that fight ain't gonna happen.
Ilia Topuria could knock out Bud Crawford on first contact. Is there any truth to it? Why is it always the MMA guys gotta go box? It doesn't sell. James Toney and the UFC lost a whole bunch of money with it. If Ilia Topuria really could beat up Terence Crawford, why didn't he go into boxing? Ilia is our champion. After seeing Conor, who could not make an amateur Olympic team.
This started after Crawford's fight night entrance. Crawford walked out to the same mariachi music that Topuria uses in the UFC. Topuria didn't like it and fired shots on social media, saying he'd fight Crawford in the ring after he's done with Canelo. Crawford laughed it off, saying the UFC champion was just trying to get attention.
And perform tonight. I got Mexicans and Latinos on my side as well, so.
Do you know Ilia Topuria walks out to that song in the UFC?
You said what?
Ilia Topuria walks out to that song in the UFC.
Did he? Oh, good. Good for him.
Crawford also called Topuria a clout chaser. He said Topuria isn't even on Conor McGregor's level when it comes to star power. Crawford admitted every fighter does it for money, but said Topuria's call-out made no sense. He also revealed he didn't even know who Topuria was when they met at the UFC Performance Institute. Crawford said Topuria is fake for talking tough online, but not saying anything face-to-face. While crossover fights like Floyd versus McGregor made big money.
Crawford stated, I don't know who he is. Ilia's man. It works every time, and Ilia went crazy. Ilia's just, you don't know who I met you at this. When Ilia responds with truth, when he brings the receipts and the facts, that's what you do when you're...
Crawford said he doesn't see the same value in fighting Topuria. He dismissed the idea and made it clear his focus is on boxing, not MMA hype. Crawford's speed, timing, defense, and ability to win in multiple weight classes make him one of the hardest fighters to beat today. Fans and promoters are already hyped about his next fight, no matter who it is.
He's not on my level. He's not on Conor McGregor's level. What the hell is going on? I mean, come on, let's be honest. Jake Paul's fighting Gervonta Davis. If that can happen, or him fighting Mike Tyson, if there's a world that we live in where that can go down and get watched by millions of people on Netflix.
Conor was always willing to risk it. Ilia, I believe, is willing to risk it. Ilia versus Crawford. Am I wasting my time talking to you guys about that? Maybe not. There's not yet something here, but there's not nothing here.
Crawford said he'll sit down with his team soon to decide, but made it clear he's open to big, legacy-defining fights before he retires. After beating Canelo, Crawford explained his strategy. He respected Canelo's power, but knew he was faster. He studied Canelo's body language.
Entertain a fight with the Mexican monster, David Benavidez. But you want Canelo. But you want Canelo.
You gotta understand, like...
But I gotta ask you, bro, because I can't,
My thing is, Benavidez is a big dude. Yeah. You know what I mean? Not to say I won't fight him. I fought his brother. You know what I mean? His brother was big, and I fought him. But, you know what I mean? Benavidez is a big...
You look at this fight. Some people would say, where the hell do you go from here? So now that you've beaten Canelo, where do you go from here?
You know, my main thing is just the rest and, sit down.
Stayed patient and took over when it was time. His disciplined game plan allowed him to control the fight and separate himself as the clear winner. At 38 years old.
The only reason why I entertain Canelo is because he's not a big dude. Like, he might be thick, you know what I mean? But he's not a big dude. You know what I mean? Like, Benavidez is like 6 foot something. You know what I mean? Then he gonna come in 190, 200 probably. You know what I mean? Like, you never know. Like,
Crawford is in the final chapter of his career, but his win over Canelo showed he's still one of the very best. A fight with Benavidez would be another chance to prove his greatness. But Crawford has already announced Bivol is his main target. That's all for today's update. Make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss the latest boxing news. Until next time, peace out.
How are you feeling as we get set for Saturday night?
I'm feeling great. I'm ready to go out there and make history.
What should people expect to see from Terence Crawford in this fight?
A little bit of everything. I think I'm gonna have to do a little bit of everything in there. I think Canelo's a great fighter. He's one of the all-time great Mexican fighters. I think he's going to bring the best out of Terence Crawford, and a lot of people going